we could fly.
Welcome to this new season of the Have a Cup of Jahani podcast. So I want to title this new season that I'm embarking on with I'm Growing. So this is going to be the season of growth. And that's what I'm going to share with you throughout the season. So I thank you for coming over here and sitting with me. And I hope you enjoy. Hello, everyone. So on this episode, we are going to talk about one inspiration that I had while drafting my current horror work in progress under the pen name J.E. Ortega, titled The Devil That Haunts Me. Are you ready? We're going to be talking about some cultural stuff in the Dominican Republic. All right, let's get it. There's this festival in the Dominican Republic that occurs every year on Independence Day on February 27th. And it is like the biggest celebration that there is, el carnival Dominicano. And according to history, the blogs or whatnot, and what my uncles told me, it was a carnival that was brought to the island by the Spaniards that colonized the island. But then it became something new with the Taino and then the African influences in the island. So if you go to the island or if you know about it, el Carnaval Dominicano, and you have seen the Diablo Cajuelos, you will see that they're very intimidating figures. They are intimidating masks. And as a little kid, I was deathly afraid of them, to the point that our uncles on one day paid one to come to our backyard and scare the crap out of me and my sister. And I think I peed my pants. I was so scared. Let me try to explain it to you. So these masks, like I never got close to it to touch it because as a kid I was really afraid. So they look like demons, right? Diablo means demon, or the devil, I'm sorry. And they look like that. They have these teeth, like vampire teeth going on. Their facial expression is grotesque. And it is like this full-on mask that goes over the head of the person wearing it. And then their costume has, it's very vibrant in color. It has gold, red, blue, white gloves that they have on. So you don't see the person at all. All you see is El Diablo when this person comes to you, because they have gloves. Everything is just covered in them. Even their pants, they have this thing. Remember how in the 80s you used to have this thing that you can put underneath your shoes to keep your tights in place? That's how it is with their pants. And the thing is that their pants are adorned with jiggly los cajuelos, which I don't know how to say it in English, but they make this noise. It's like these little rattles, and they're sewn in their costume. So when they dance and they move, and they make sure that they do it in a way that they're always, those rattles are rattling the entire time. So it's like you hear them coming, you definitely see them coming. And it is a grotesque mask that for me, I have never forgotten. And it is this that I took with me when I started writing The Devil That Haunts Me. So let me explain. I wanted to make sure that there was something that the person saw when they fell back into their trauma. I know from experience that sometimes trauma makes you see things that are not necessarily there. And when the character goes through that, I wanted them to have an image of the Diablo de Cajuelo as that haunting thing that just they continue to see time and time again when their brain keeps going back to that time. And like me as a child, I never forgot that. It's something I believe it traumatized me. I'm sure it was all in good fun, but for me, that experience has stayed there. I'm 41 years old right now, and that happened when I was like 7, and I still remember to this day vividly hearing the cajuelos come around the corner, and then just this slow motion of turning back and seeing that grotesque mass staring at me. And then the Diablo had, they have these balloons, but they're not soft. They're made of cow skin. So when they hit it against the asphalt, because they got to our yard looking for us, it ricocheted. It was like this echo, this harrowing echo that occurred. And I screamed at the top of my lungs, but was unable to move. And according to my uncles, I became very pale and just stood there frozen. I was in shock. But, back then, no one really thinks about trauma and certain jokes that may be too much for kids and things like that. And I grew up around a whole bunch of men that really didn't have much sensitivity or interpersonal skills for the most part. So that's part of what I bring into the devil that haunts me, that kind of traumatic experience that stays with you. But here it takes a paranormal twist to it as the the mom when she goes to get her daughter's things. Are you ready to embark on a captivating journey of resilience and revelation? Get ready to immerse yourself in the extraordinary world of Isla Delgado, a 9-year-old girl who has experienced more than her fair share of trauma. Isla's life takes a dramatic turn when she's forced to live with her dad and his new wife for 6 months. Her anxiety intensifies as she becomes convinced that her stepmom is an evil witch. But Isla is determined to protect herself and expose her stepmom's true nature. As the gripping story unfolds, Isla discovers that things aren't always as they seem. People are saying, while the alarming trend of attempting to ban books continues in the United States, this book is a fantastic reminder of the power that books have. A child will read this story and feel seen, heard, and hopefully feel some peace. For children of the appropriate age, this book provides the opportunity for a wonderful exercise in empathy. The message of this story is truly something a lot of children out there, and even some adults, might need to hear. Join Isla on a transformative journey of self-discovery, where she learns that even the most traumatic experiences can be triumphantly overcome with the power of love and understanding. Mrs. Franchi's Evil Ring is available everywhere books are sold. Her daughter has passed, and she goes and gets her daughter's things from her apartment, and she's essentially dragged to hell. And when she's dragged to hell, she sees these figures of devils that continuously follow her from each time jump that she does as she's going through not just her trauma that she suffered, but her daughter's trauma as well. And it was a slow draft for me because I'm tapping into those things that I went through as well, while inserting a lot of fictional aspects in there. Because, like I told my therapist, this is not an autobiography. but it was slow at first, and now it's gotten slow again, but that's because I'm grieving the loss of John. But soon I'm going to get back into it and finish act 2, so that way it can move a little faster and I can have it finished by next year. But that is in essence what the aesthetic of this book. The aesthetic of this book is the Diablo Cajuelos being the imagery used to represent the trauma, is the trauma in human form that comes through no matter where these ladies find themselves in. And is there staring them right in the face? Is there hitting that balloon against the wall? And is there just in their dreams nonstop until they finally give in and are able to look at their trauma head on without the mask? Because I was thinking, in a horror book, I needed to find the monster, right? Well, I was outlining this thing. I was like, who is the monster? I need to find a monster. And I don't care too much for horror where there's an actual monster and there's nothing behind that monster, but just that they're just a monster, right? It's like Frankenstein or something like that, and it's just like, okay, that's it. No, I needed to find something with meaning. And I started being more introspective. I started thinking, doodling. I doodle a lot when I'm kind of stuck in a thought. And and finally it came to me. I was like, the monster is generational trauma. That is the worst monster of all. The hardest monster to bring down is generational trauma that festers, that is like a cancer, that is like in The Devil That Haunts Me, is that Diablo Cajuelo that continues to find you, whether you're dead or alive, and just haunts you wherever you are. And that is what my main character is going to try to bring down. And we will see. We will see if she is successful or not. We will see. But it's been tough to write, but while it's challenging, I'm also very proud of myself for doing it, for writing it, and for staying consistent with it, or as consistent as I can with everything going on. And I am looking forward to finishing it, because to me, that will be how I tackle my Diablo Cajuelo. And I will finally be able to put it down. And I can't wait. I can't wait to share it. And like I've said before, when I write these stories, I can't help but tap into things that I've lived, tap into things that I feel. So when people ask me, are you the main character? My reply is always, I'm every character. Everything that is me, it's in some part of what I write. I feel like I don't know how to do it any other way. When I create something, and that creation comes from me, it's going to have a part of me. Sometimes that part is very joyful. Sometimes that part is very dark. Sometimes that part is very sad. But I'm a mixture of so many things, right? So any of those parts will find themselves into what I write, and it's there. But I put it there not to re-traumatize people or anything like that. I put it there so that way people don't feel so alone when they go through some of these things. Because I know from experience that when we're going through certain things, we feel like we are the only ones going through it. We feel so alone. We feel so unheard. We feel as if no one understands what's going on. And I know from experience as well that sometimes when one is going through something like that, you don't want to be around anybody. You just want to be by yourself. But I know for me, in my darkest moments, while I didn't want to be around people, I pick a book, and that's where I find solace. So I write these stories because of that, because I know there may be a person out there who is going through some things, who doesn't want to be around people, but will pick up a book. And hopefully when they pick up that book, they will feel seen and they will know that they're not alone. That someone else, even if it's a fictional character, they have gone through something similar to them. And they have come out of it the other end. But that's why I write these stories. So hopefully, if you're into horror and you're okay with the imagery of Diablo Cajuelos and you're okay facing on trauma head on, then you can read this book and partake in it and help it find an audience. Or at the very least, recommend it to somebody who you think would enjoy the read or would find the read to be helpful. That concludes this episode of Diablo Cajuelos and the imagery that I am using on The Devil That Haunts Me, an upcoming horror book that I'm writing. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned a little bit about El Carnaval Dominicano at the very least. And maybe you'll find yourself going over there for one of these carnivals. And then tell me, maybe you'll see, tell me, am I being a big baby? Maybe it's not that scary to you. I know for me, it was the most scariest thing I've experienced, or at least while I was that age. That was the most scariest thing. If you go and you go to the carnival, let me know. Let me know what you think of the Diablo Cajuelos. And then find The Devil That Haunts Me and read it there and see how they compare. All right. I'll talk to you next Wednesday. Bye.
Oh, we could fly.
Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to the show. See you on the next episode. Bye.
Oh, we could fly.